I am Kelsey. I'm a nutritional therapist, I'm a paleo chef and baker, and I'm the author of the new cookbook, Paleo Sweets. Ta-da! And today you're with me in my kitchen, and we are in Santa Monica, sunny Santa Monica. We're going to be making a really amazing recipe from Paleo Sweets. It's great, it's simple, it's easy, it's quick. What more could you ask for in a dessert? We are going to be throwing together the no churn avocado ice cream. I'll show you what page it's on. Right here. No churn avocado ice cream. And I know it sounds a little bit weird, but it's actually super delicious, and I'm also going to give you some ideas for variations you can make if you want to switch it up a little bit. So before I get too far into this, I just want to make sure the sound is working, so if you guys could just give me some love if you can hear me. And if you're just joining us, go ahead and say hi, tell us where you're from. Yeah, we just want to hear from you. So is the sound working? Can everyone hear? Okay, cool. I got some thumbs up going. Got some thumbs up. All right, cool. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with this. One of my favorite things about this recipe, again, it's like, yay, love. I love it. Yeah, so one of my favorite things about this recipe, like I said, it's super easy to throw together, and it's full of really healthy fats because one of the main ingredients is avocado. And it's kind of funny, as a kid I didn't really like avocado. I didn't do guacamole, didn't really do avocado on sandwiches, but my tastes have changed as I've started adulting more. And again, I'll show you guys some variations for those of you who don't like avocado, or maybe your kids don't like avocado. You can still whip together this really quick and easy, dairy-free, vegan if you choose to use honey in your diet. Like, you can make it super simple and super adaptive to meet everyone's tastes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. One of the first ingredients that we're going to throw in is coconut milk. Now, coconut milk is the base that I use for all of my ice creams in Paleo Sweets. There's like a whole chapter in here that has a bunch of different ice cream recipes, and they all contain coconut milk. It's a really healthy fat, and it's a really great base to give you that kind of creamy texture of ice cream, but without the inflammatory effects of dairy. So I'm going to shake, shake, shake. And remember, it's important when you're choosing coconut milk, you want something that's only coconut and water. You don't need preservatives, you don't need potassium sorbate, you don't need any guar gum or xanthan gum or anything like that. I picked this up just from a local store that we have in the States called Trader Joe's. They've started supplying really great organic whole fat coconut milk at a great price. If that's not available to you, you can always order it online. I believe the brand is called Great Value, and they just switched their packaging to be like a neon green can, so it's hard to miss. But Great Value is one you can also sometimes find at your Whole Foods store or order it online at Amazon.com. Either way, we have plenty of resources for you to find some organic, non-preservative filled coconut milk so you can make delicious, healthy ice cream. I'm going to go ahead and pop this open, and we're going to throw 2 cups in the blender. So it's going to take a little bit more than one 14-ounce can. So let's see, this one can is about 1 2/3 of a cup. So I'm going to go ahead, and I had this one open from yesterday. I love coconut milk. I use it all the time. I use it for a lot of really fun, yummy stuff. You can see this stuff is actually, I don't know if you noticed, there are like chunks kind of plopping out of it. That is the coconut cream, because I opened this can yesterday and I stored it in my fridge, so the coconut cream actually starts to separate and harden. And so you'll see again in some of the recipes in Paleo Sweets, I use coconut cream, and that's what it is. You'll take a can of whole fat coconut milk, stick it in the fridge overnight, let the cream separate and harden from the top, and then throw that in when you're making the recipe. But right now we're just using 2 cups, full fat, preservative-free coconut milk, and I'm just throwing it into the blender. So that's another thing that I love about this recipe is you don't need an ice cream maker, no churning required. And that's because the reason is we're using ingredients that have a lot of healthy fats. Fats don't freeze the same way water does, so you're going to be able to maintain the creamy texture and not have to deal with like the crunchy ice crystals that you would get if you're using other ingredients. We're going to go ahead and move on to the avocados now. I'm really excited, can't wait to get to these. So I'm using 1.5 large ripe avocados, and if you're lucky enough to live in an area where they carry avocados in your store, sometimes you'll see they have a section of avocados once in a while that's like ripe and ready to eat. So those are the times I like to grab the avocados and whip this recipe up. It's especially great because this keeps for a couple of weeks in the freezer. So you can whip this up ahead of time and then have it ready for you, just whenever. But you can grab the avocados while they're ripe, and you have a way to use them other than just guacamole. So I'm going to cut this in half carefully. Let's see how lucky we get. Oh my gosh. Boop. Beautiful. It's so funny. A friend of mine on Instagram posted a picture like holding her avocado like this. She's like, you know it's going to be a good day when you pop the avocado open and it's gorgeous and ripe and we have no brown spots. So I'm going to go ahead and use a spoon just to scoop this into the blender with the coconut milk. Again, if you're just joining us, go ahead and say hey. And I'm also kind of curious, like I love using avocados in this recipe. I'm curious if you guys have any like fun or interesting ways you like to use avocado. I know it's great. You can also make like face masks with it. Great on sandwiches, guacamole. But yeah, let me know if you have any awesome creative ways you like to use avocado. So we're going to carefully remove the pit, carefully being the key word. Sometimes we learn by mistakes, and I have cut myself removing the avocado pit before, so move with caution. This is beautifully ripe, nice and soft, scooping it out so easily. And it's also interesting, so this type of avocado is what's called a Hass avocado, and there are several different kinds of avocados. I don't personally notice a ton of difference in the flavor, so I'm not going to say that it matters which one you use in this recipe, because it doesn't. Again, an avocado is an avocado. You might notice that some avocados tend to be a little bit smaller, and if that's the case, if you end up grabbing a couple of small avocados, you'll probably want to end up using 2 whole avocados or maybe 2.5. So let you guesstimate. This recipe is really flexible, and so you can kind of fudge it a little bit, and still the result will be like an amazing, yummy dessert, super creamy. So there we go. Got our second half of the avocado. Here we go. Okay. So moving on, we're going to go ahead and I'll show you guys what I'm using for a sweetener. I love using honey in this recipe. Honey for me is ideal. I like to use it when I'm making like fruit-based recipes, and technically avocado is a fruit, so honey pairs really well as opposed to maple syrup. I wouldn't use maple syrup in this recipe because I think it would taste a little bit weird with avocado, but for some reason honey and avocado are great. So I'm going to go ahead and measure off half a cup. And that's another thing to be aware of. This recipe is really low sugar. I'm just going to get down low so I can make sure I'm hitting the mark, my half cup mark. Bloop, just like that. Yeah, so there's only half a cup of honey in this whole recipe. You know, the coconut milk lends a really nice natural sweetness. So you don't have to use a lot of sweetener. So we'll go ahead and scrape that in. And if you're just joining us, what I'm doing is I'm throwing together some quick, easy, delicious, no churn avocado ice cream from my new book, Paleo Sweets. So this recipe is totally dairy-free, doesn't contain any eggs, so it could be considered vegan if you are vegan and you consume honey. That's like questionable for some vegans. So just want to make you aware of that. And next, we're going to move on to lemon. So the recipe calls for lemon or lime juice, and I just happen to be lucky enough to have a lemon tree outside of my apartment, which is awesome. When I was writing Paleo Sweets, I was out there all the time grabbing lemons. But lemon juice, nice, fresh lemons. I need about 2 tablespoons of it, and since these lemons are a little bit smaller and they're not quite as ripe, I'm just going to give them a little roll with pressure on the table to hopefully get some of that excess juice out. And then we'll go ahead and cut them in half and squeeze them on in. And I think I forgot to grab a measuring spoon for this, but again, it's okay. The recipe is flexible. I'm going to eyeball about 2 tablespoons of juice. You can use lime juice if you prefer. I've used lime juice in the past, and that's cool too because it gives it a little bit of like a tropical citrusy flavor. You know, lemon and lime are same but different. So they can be fun to experiment and switch them out in different recipes. I'm just going to go ahead and slice this in half. And it has some seeds in there, so I'm going to squeeze it with the cut side face up so the seeds don't fall into the ice cream. Don't need crunchy ice cream. It would not be a good kind of crunch. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, get the seed off my hand, squeeze another one. Again, cut side up so we're not squeezing the seeds into our beautiful decadent treat. I'm going to slice open this second one. And so I just gave these a roll, and it is loosening up some of the juice. I mean, whoop! And be careful, don't squirt yourself or We're due school, you know, whatever. We're home chefs. We can be messy. We just have to clean up afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and use both of these lemons because, again, they're a little bit underripe, and we're squeezing about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in there. So that is good to go. I'm going to wipe my hands off on my apron because they're covered in lemon juice now. And I'm going to throw in one last optional ingredient, which is Himalayan salt. I like to use this in a majority of my recipes. Salt is just a great flavor enhancer, and also adding a little bit of salt is going to guarantee that we don't get any ice crystals forming. Salt, you know, they salt the roads when it's snowing out, or if there's ice on the roads, the salt helps melt the ice. Well, it does the same thing in ice cream. It helps keep it nice and creamy, and we don't get those like crunchy crystals in the same way that we would, you know, if we chose another option and didn't use salt. All right, guys. So everything is in the blender, ready to make our no-churn avocado ice cream. You can see, you know, it's so easy. I was able to have a full conversation with you guys while we're hanging out making this. So go ahead and put your earmuffs on. This is going to be a little bit noisy, but not for very long. Let's see. And that's pretty much it. Done. That wasn't so bad, was it? Is everyone still okay? Didn't deafen anybody? All right, but that was so easy, right? I just blended it for 30 seconds. Once I noticed, you know, like when you're blending, things start kind of, it pours over on top into itself. So I just noticed that it's getting super creamy and smooth. And I'll show you guys what that looks like right here. Look at that. So it's like nice, smooth puree. So what I'm going to do with this is I went ahead and I special ordered these really cute little pint-sized ice cream containers. I just think they're adorable, not only if you want to make a couple of different flavors of ice cream and just have them ready for you, but also if you want to share with your friends, which they will love and appreciate so much, especially this kind of treat, which is simple for you to throw together, so you didn't have to go too far out of your way. But it's also really delicious and has a really unique flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and take my scraper and just pour this off. Bleep, bleep, bleep. One, and then another one. And this is perfect too because I'm actually about to go out of town for a few days, and I already have one batch made up that I'll show you guys in a second. So I don't need, like, I mean, as much as I love ice cream, I don't need 2 batches of ice cream in my freezer at the same time just sitting there. So might as well spread the love, spread the love. So this recipe perfectly made 2 pints. I'm going to give them just a little tap to get some of the air bubbles out and so they settle down. Putting the lids on. And again, I got these containers, I got a whole sleeve of them. I don't remember if it came with 25 or 50. I just ordered them online from Amazon.com. So if you want to look adorable and fancy, which I love to do with my desserts, I like to look a little bit show-offy, these are perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and pop them in the freezer. And now for the big reveal, I want to show you guys, I made this batch last night. So I chose to go ahead and freeze it in a loaf tin, just like this. I normally bake bread in this, but you can pop it in the freezer as well. You can use like a glass dish that has been tempered. You don't want to use anything that's going to break apart because when you stick things in the freezer, sometimes the container can become rigid. So that's why in the past I've used some like plastic containers, but when they freeze, they can start to crack when you're applying pressure and digging the ice cream out. So loaf tin is great. Or you can choose like a reinforced, like a glass baking dish type thing. So I've had this sitting out for about 10 minutes or however long I've been talking to you, we've been hanging out. So, and I recommend that to let it soften a little bit so you can scoop it a lot easier. And I also want to point out that this recipe can be made into popsicles also, if you want to like have like a really yummy, I think it's probably more of like a Thai style or some kind of like delicious tropical popsicle that's creamy too. You can go ahead and pour this off into your popsicle molds instead, but you'll also probably want to pull the popsicle molds out, let them sit for a few minutes to make them easier to pop out. So this, just like so, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love it when you guys come and hang out with me in my kitchen and we make treats together because then I get to eat them. So I'm about to show you how delicious this is up close and personal. And look how easy it's scooping. You know, I'm just kind of like working it a little bit, but there you go. I just got 2 perfect scoops out, nice and creamy, super smooth. And I want to tell you about the variation that I was mentioning, which I didn't use in this batch, but if you don't like avocado, or if your kids or your husband or your friends don't like avocado, you can turn this into chocolate no churn ice cream. Boom. So again, you're just going to go ahead and use the same ingredients, the coconut milk, the avocado, the lemon. I would go with lemon if you're using chocolate, and a little pinch of salt, and then you can just throw in 3 or 4 tablespoons of cacao powder. And there you have a really easy, again, totally dairy-free, no ice cream maker needed ice cream. It's so great. So this, again, for those of you who are joining me, say hi, tell us where you're from, tell me your favorite way to use avocado. And I just want to show you, again, this is on page 161 of my cookbook, Paleo Sweets, full of so many amazing, beautiful recipes. I would love to share it with you. We're going to go ahead and pin a link to the cookbook just below the video, so you can grab the cookbook. It's free. All you do is pay shipping, and all of these amazing recipes can be yours. So for now, I want to show you guys what we just made. And this is amazing. See, look, it's like so nice and creamy. And I just did exactly what I just showed you. I threw everything in the I throwed it all in the blender. I threw everything in the blender. You blend it up, and then you kind of like get to fix it and forget it. I recommend you freeze for a minimum of 4 hours, but I left mine overnight just because it's a lot easier to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bite and show you guys. So good. It's so good. You can taste the avocado a little bit, but it just has a really interesting, like, unique, creamy, sweet flavor. You can also change the flavor up by changing the kind of honey you're using. Honey does have kind of a delicate flavor, but it'll impart whatever that nuance is. Manuka honey is kind of buttery. You can use eucalyptus honey, which is also like a different type of buttery. Raw honey is great because then you'll preserve all of the enzymes in the ice cream and make it like a superfood ice cream. This is super great. I love that I had an opportunity to share this with you guys. And again, if you want to grab a copy of, I'm just going to eat this ice cream. If you want to grab a copy of Paleo Sweets, you're going to click the link below the video. The book is free. You just pay shipping. And then all of this and so much more can be yours. So I'll be here for a second if you guys have any questions. Hi, Solana from Brisbane. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. And again, I want to know your favorite creative uses for avocado, because I know I've thought of a few, but I'm sure you've gotten creative too, so I would love to hear about that. I am going to go ahead. Yeah, Brendan, I can't wait for you to tell me how you like it. Hi. How's it going? Ooh, from Finland. Nice to meet you guys. Great. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been such a pleasure to have you in my kitchen today. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to make this super easy, delicious, healthy, no churn avocado ice cream as much as I'm enjoying eating it right now. If you have any questions or comments, you can go ahead and post them now, post them later, post below in the comments. I'll try to get back to you, and we'll let you know what you can do to get your free copy of Paleo Sweets. Remember, just click the link below the video. Free. All you have to do is pay shipping, and it's all yours. Go ahead and enjoy it. I'm going to eat the rest of this. You guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye.